Welcome, 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 everybody.
Mhm.
This is our Ike Kaya Ulu Talk Story series that we hold every single month from 1 to 2 on the second Friday of every month during the academic semester. My name is Noi Tupo, and I am the director of our Ike Kaya Ulu Community Engagement Program. And I encourage you guys to go look on YouTube to see some of the other episodes of our community guests. So what we like to do is to invite people from the community to to talk story about what they do in their community. So we are very fortunate today to welcome our two community partners. I have a question though, David. Can you see me moving people across the screen? No? Okay. I can't hear you, David.
I can see your share screen and I can see you as the speaker.
Okay. That's what I was getting so confused about last time. Okay. Anyway, let's welcome Mina Viritua and Vai Needham, who are from the PIPES program. I know you've probably all seen this beautiful flyer that was going out to the world that talks a little bit about this program that is based in Hilo, and we'll learn a little bit more about it today. The PIPES program stands for the Pacific Internship for Exploring Science, and it is a paid, I love that part, paid undergraduate summer internship. And one of the reasons that I chose to feature PIPES this particular month is because my daughter went through the program and she came back kind of a different person. I was kind of surprised about how she had grown. I mean, granted, it's 10 weeks long, and it's definitely something that you can take the time to grow during a 10-week program. What do they say? Like 3 weeks, anything longer than 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. So 10 weeks, you're definitely going to have some influence on your life. So I was really thrilled about what this PIPES program turned out to be for my little 18-year-old girl who's now 19. So I'm really excited to hear from Mina and Vai about what the program is, how maybe a little bit about how it all began and what it means to them. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Vai, so that you can maybe share a little bit.
Yeah, mahalo nui for this time and space, Santi, to have us. I think maybe Mina and I, before I share my presentation, would just talk about ourselves, where we come from, and our involvement with PIPES. You want to go first, Mina?
Sure, I'll start it off. Right on, mahalo nui, Auntie, for that wonderful introduction. But before I introduce myself, I just want to say mahalo nui, like Vice said, for having this space for us to come and share this wonderful opportunity with you folks. And a big shout out to Waileia. Like Auntie said, she was a part of the program this summer. And if it wasn't for her sharing her insights, right, how she grew with her mom, we probably wouldn't be sharing this opportunity with you folks. So I just want to give and acknowledge you folks for this space and this time to share. So without further ado, ano ai me ke aloha nui a kākou o Mina Viritua Junior ko inoa no Hilo a me puna mai iau na ka hau o mana ke aku unio na ke ahi o mana loa ku umole o hakalau lawa o Honolulu ku pai ka Hawaii o lehia ku one hanau. I like to introduce the spaces that shaped me before I introduce myself. Of course, Mauna Kea being the most prevalent mountain here on Hawaii Island. You know, the Kahawais of Honolulu and Hakalau were the rivers that shape the edges of my ilis, you know. Lehia on the Aina Pula Pula of Keokaha is where I grew up, and I consider my one hanau. And I am a proud kupa of this Aina of Puna in Hilo. I grew up in Keokaha, specifically attended Ke Kula Kaya Puni o Keokaha. And my papa still has his house over there, so a strong connection to that community, as well as Puna, Opi house specifically, where some of my kupuna rest, and then all, of course, across Hawaii and the other parts of the Pacific, because, right, we're just a melting pot. Our kupunas come from all over, but my strong connection to this island, this Mokupuni, is Puna and Hilo. I went to the Kikulakai Puni education system, you know, having that whole Olelo Hawaii background and that kind of entrenched into my understanding and my being. And after going through that whole educational background, I decided to go into college, of course, with a little kokua. I had some kokua. I had people that I knew, that I trusted, that I could turn to for help, because of course the catalyst to me getting into higher education was getting into trouble, like a lot of us local boys. Get too much time, not enough guidance, right? Not enough funding from our mapua to send us to college. So I had to go figure it out. I was working and just got into too much trouble, surfing too much. And but like I said, I had somebody I could trust, I could turn to. So I went to somebody to, you know, to guide me and give me the koku I needed. So I got into higher education. Hawaii Community College was my route. And luckily, the counselor that I knew me. He was my mom's youngest brother, so he knew my strengths. And because he knew my strengths, hooked me into higher education. Because for a lot of us young Hawaiian males, higher education is almost a scare. Went to high school. Why do we want to go to college now, right? Because that experience wasn't the best. I wasn't the best performing student, right? I was C's at best. Actually, tell you the truth, in my days, Auntie, D's was acceptable. So I graduated with D's. You know, but anyways, that's besides the point. Higher education. And he knew my strengths. Ike ku'una Hawaii, you know, all these no'ea, hana no'ea Hawaii was my strength. So we have programs like that at Hawaii Community College, like you folks do too at WCC. So that was my real interest of getting me excited about learning again, was getting back into the specifically Hawaiian studies. So I did my higher education up there, did my Hawaiian studies. I actually spent like about 4 years over there, getting 3 degrees, got my AA, transferred up to UH Hilo. I actually found the PIPES program through that educational journey at HCC. I found PIPES. That whole experience just opened my eyes to conservation. I wasn't aware that we could take that career, the academic path towards a career in Aloha Āina and conservation. So going through that program, it shifted my academic path, and I went more toward a science field, because I felt like a lot of my papas, my classmates, were going into Hawaiian studies. They wanted to become teachers, which is a great thing. But I feel like we need to branch out of that. We're just kind of a little, you know, focused on that, which is my kai, because we need to, you know, hana and malama the next generation of speakers, you know, of lawyers, of doctors. But that's the thing, like we're kind of, you know, bottlenecking into. I'm not putting my whole papa down or anything, but we have enough representation in the higher, at least teaching our kids, right? Going into Kakaula. So I felt like I wanted to bridge it with something else that I was interested in, which is Aloha Āina, because my internship at Pipes showed me that I could be on the Āina and get paid for doing something that I love to do, which is hugging trees. That's what I was doing for my Pipes internship. I was literally hugging trees, measuring the DBH, the diameter at breast height, so we could figure out the growth rate of our native species and look at the lack of support that our forests have. So through that whole experience with Pipes, I decided to go into the sciences. I did a geography degree at UH Hilo. And then through that whole experience, I actually wanted to bridge that with urban and regional planning, being a part of the land use decision-making process here in Hawaii, because that is another place that is lacking in representation of our local kanaka, right? So that was kind of part of my whole bridging my master's degree with the conservation, but specifically I was looking at social policy in the urban regional planning degree program, looking at social policy of how it's really affecting our young people in the juvenile justice system, looking specifically at intervention, diversion, and alternative programs to the youth correctional facility, right? Basically jail for kids. You know, we need to come up with alternative programs for. That was my whole, I guess, you know, goal with going into my master's. So I did that with my master's. After I graduated in 2016, I actually had my first baby. So I was blessed to have my first keiki. I defended the day he was born. I defended my master's, flew home.
Wow.
And with my baby. So I started my family as soon as I finished my master's. I spent about 10 years, you know, my college journey, all my 20s, basically. I was 19 and a half when I got in. I got out at 29. yeah, pretty much graduated when I was 29. Started my family, and then I got jumped, hit the ground running. So I've been in the forest. After I graduated from college, I was blessed to land a job with the San Diego Zoo Global, who is in charge of doing our recovery ecology efforts across Hawaii Āina, specifically where endangered birds. So our alalas, our kiwikius, our akike'es, our akikikis, from Kauai. So, and we have 2 facilities, one here on the Big Island and then one out in Maui. But I was blessed to land that job here on Hawaii Island through my pipes connections, because as an alumni, I'm a part of this listserv where we get emails every week. I want to say every day we get emails from our director, who is the I call her the Mary. The Mary. If Pipes was a baby, Sharon Ziegler-Chong, which is the woman who created this program, would be Mary, right? Because she never need any kind of kokua. It was all, she
birthed from her. That's funny.
She creates this listserv, right, which is 30 years long worth of people who's went through pipes, and she just pumps out emails of all these job opportunities, internship opportunities, fellowship, it could, whatever it is, volunteer options. So it's through her I landed my first, actually 3 jobs out of college was through pipes, so huge, shout out to Pipes and everything that you guys do, because you guys do a wonderful job. But
that is awesome.
Yeah, I landed all of my jobs, including this current position that I'm in with as a pipes coordinator. But after working in the forest, right, being in the classroom for about 10 years, I had to reconnect with the forest. So I, got to be out there with the alala specifically. We were doing the recovery efforts with the alala, our Hawaiian crow. That is like a lot of our Kanaka species throughout Hawaii, on the verge of extinction. Endangered species on the endangered species list. So I was doing that, and then through like I mentioned, the listserv, I found out that this vacancy came up in the pipes program. So it's a huge blessing for me to come full circle, where I now get to be a part of the journeys of our next generation of Aloha Āina warriors. And I get to see people like me when I was, in that beginning stages of not really knowing what I want to do with my life. Like, I just enjoy learning. Like, it's a nice space for me, but like, what do I do, right? Do this program. Pipes will kind of open it up for you and give you options, right? It's not the path, it's a path, right? It's an opportunity for us to take advantage of. So I'm super blessed to be in this position. I've been in this position for about 3 summers now. I've been in this position, and I'm looking to grow even more. So actually looking to transfer into another position and open up other opportunities for other Kanakas who is coming out of emerging professionals, finishing their degree and stepping into this position to grow them too, like this position has done for me. It has grown me a lot, and I'm super blessed to be a part of a wonderful team like Vi, Nalu O'Connor, who is the leader of the Pipes team. He's a wonderful leader of the team. And then we have Sharon, which is our director. I'm nothing without my team, really. So that was a really, really long introduction. We call it my vibe, but it's some time for spare. So hey,
yeah, definitely.
Pilina.
Yes. Can I just pop in for just a second, Vi? I just want to say that our community partner last month was an organization called Kupa Āina, and they work with incarcerated youth. Right at and so it reminded me of what you were saying, Mina, that the Aina is very healing, and the Aina is what can take that one child that just you cannot connect to any other way, but hand him a machete and it takes him back to when he was a kid, and he's out there with the Aina one-on-one, and he's really, really connecting and growing and healing. So I think there's something to be said about incarcerated youth and the Aina. Anyway, just a funny coincidence, Mina, that you say that. Awesome.
A lot of the reason why I took my education in that direction is because that could have been me. I come from a lot of these my circles, my generation. I see my generation going through the struggles, like whether it's jail, the drugs, suicide. It's so prevalent, So I could have been that person. You know what I mean?
And that's the kind of thing that we need more people to connect to. I just watched a film last night because the Hawaii International Film Festival began last night, and there's a film called Uncle Bully's Surfing School. And it's about a guy who kind of had that hard road, but he is now teaching surfing. Well, he was in front of Lahaina, and he was teaching homeless kids. And then the fire happened, and he was trying to find those kids. He was able to reconnect, but talking about how that hard road that he living on the streets made him who he was, and now he's realizing that because of that he can start giving back, because the high that he gets with helping the kids is just incredible. And so yeah, lots of fabulous stories about people that are using their past to amplify their future. So look for that movie, Uncle Bully's Surf School. I think it's coming to Hilo. Anyway, check out the Hawaii International Film Festival. Okay, bye. Now we can get to know who you are.
Yeah, mahalo nui. I feel like I just learned like 5, 6, 7, 8 new things about Mina.
Awesome.
He is transitioning out, and I'm really gonna miss your energy, bro. Just your energy, in the very least. But yeah, my name is Vai Needham. I'm short for Vai Keola, and I come from Kauai, West Side Kauai. That's where my mom and her ohana is from, and also Oahu. And I was mostly raised in Kalavahine on Oahu, which is I think it's in Ely, in the Papakolea area. So I live in Kaumana now with my husband and my 2-year-old son, and this would be my second summer working with pipes. I did do pipes in 2013, and it was a super awesome experience, just like Mina was talking about, so many connections, and you kind of just get thrown into the deep end of this huge network of people who are more or less, like-minded and share the vision for Hawaii and our natural resource management, our community stewardship, and all those good things. So cool to be on this end of things too now, and to kind of give back into what gave me a lot of things too. Yeah, I did not go to Kaipuni. I went to a pretty standard English speaking school, but I graduated from Hawaii Baptist Academy in Nu'uanu. Then I went on to Kapiolani Community College. I'm a huge advocate for community colleges. I think they are the best segue out of high school into career paths and professional development. And then I did a year at UH Hilo in Kahu'ula, and then had some family stuff going on. So I ended up graduating with a bachelor's at UH Manoa. And then I did my master's right after that. So I graduated in December 2016, started my master's in January 2017, and then just kind of grinded through a master's program. And both of those degrees are in tropical plant and soil science. Yeah, then I worked for the Department of Agriculture with the state for a little while after that. That was a cool job, being a plant inspector at the airport, Honolulu Airport, and then Kona Airport. And then I got hapai, had my keiki, and decided I don't want to work this job anymore. So I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 2 years before this pipes job. So that's been fun, transitioning from being just mama-san to all this other kind kuleana, and kind of being mama-san to interns.
This is true.
It's been fun. Yeah, I'm super grateful that Nalu, our program lead, kind of pushed me into thinking I could do this kind of work, and it feels really good to interact with our haumana and the next generation, of that we're gonna look up to and that are gonna lead us into the future. So
yeah, that's so awesome. I feel like everybody should introduce themselves, because we have such a smaller group. David's like, no, 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 I'm just pressing play. Rob, we'll go with Rob first. Rob, could you introduce yourself real quick? Just,
Sure.
who you are.
Yeah, aloha. My name's Rob. I'm a retiree from the United States Air Force, 36 years. Grew up pretty much my whole life here in Kaneohe, Castle High School grad. Got a master's degree from Central Michigan in administration. Went back to school primarily because I'm concerned about, our culture and the education piece and passing on knowledge. So wanting to learn more on the academic side. Really impressed by you folks' participation in the PIPES program. Being in the National Guard, I was in the executive leadership echelon before I left 10 years in the last 10 years of my career. And we did sort of the same thing. We built a mentorship program for young leaders, and it was culturally based through Hawaiian values. But I really love what you folks are doing. I'm doing a lot of reading on your website. So mahalo nui for all the folks that you folks have affected. I see one of my friends on the picture here, Rita Miller. She looks like she was part of the program. So yeah, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Rob. David, do you want to say just a little bit about you?
Sure. My name's David Fry. I'm originally from Massachusetts, in the Northeast on the mainland. I've had family in Hawaii though, kind of forever from my mom's side. An uncle that's been living in Kailua since the early 80s, I would say. So visiting him, and then I ended up going to graduate school at Hawaii Pacific University back in the early 2000s, and then went back to the mainland for school for a bit, and then came back to work at University of Hawaii over at Leeward Community College in the teacher education program over there for about 5 years as a media specialist. And we filmed a lot of local teachers all throughout the state, actually, and then to build kind of a database for students to learn from. And then I moved over here, and I've been at Windward for about 5 years. I'm head of media technology over here. So we do everything audio, video, and help out Noi with her recordings and then everybody else around campus. But it sounds like a really interesting program that you all have. I'm one of my, I don't know, as anybody out in here in Hawaii, we're all interested in we all love the Aina, and we're all trying to find ways to support programs that support the Aina over here at Windward. So it's great to hear about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, awesome. Man, we're a good group. This is like an awesome group of people. So cool. And I don't know if you know me. I don't know if you know me, but you sort of know me. Born and raised in Aiea. I went to Aiea High School. And my family is from Makawao, Maui, from Kona, and from Hilo and Kohala. And yeah, 3 kids, teaching Hawaiian and Pacific studies for the last almost 25 years, at almost every college. I was at Maui Community College, KCC, Leeward, Waianae. I even taught at UH West Oahu. I taught at HPU for 1 semester, and now Windward. And then I taught in the University of Auckland in New Zealand, and Auckland University of Technology as well. So yeah, been teaching for a while. And I'm so thrilled that my daughter got to do what she got to do. So yeah, tell us more about the program. I want to know more.
Yeah, let me share my screen and start there. A short presentation. Okay. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. Oops. Sorry.
Here we go.
Cool. So Auntie had a wonderful introduction for us already. We are PIPES, Pacific Internship Programs for Exploring Science. And that's us listed down there, but I did, mostly because Mina brought it up, I did want to mention our advisory board, which is the directors, Sharon Ziegler-Chong. There's also Dr. Noi Lani Punivai, Becky Ostertag, and Ulu Ching, who are kind of our heroes, I think, for all of us, and are really helpful in all the work that they've done. Has carved the way for PIPES really over the last 30 years. So little shout out to them. So you've already seen this, I think, in Auntie's email, but this is our mission statement. Really, we are aiming to grow, strengthen, and invest into the next generation of Aloha Āina warriors. That is inclusive of not only our students, but our mentors, our community partners, and how we can empower them through our programming and the partnerships we make. Most of, I would say 90% of this talk is geared towards our interns, but I do want to say that PIPES is doing a lot of work behind the scenes to grow our community partners and also to grow our mentors. Mm-hmm. Every intern gets one mentor, two if they're lucky, during the summer. And we think it's really important to give them the necessary tools to develop those kinds of relationships and for them to become alaka'i in that space. So we do offer for our mentors during the internship program, we offer a Kumu Mahuahua series, which is mentorship development workshops that Dr. Noi Punivai and Becky Ostertag usually run. And it helps them to, grow the tool set that they need to work with these interns and to have it translate into other parts of their lives as mentoring peoples. So this is our Mo'a Āina framework, and it's only been around for the past couple of years, but I would say it is birthed from 30 years of programming, 30 years of community partnership, and Aloha Āina work across the Pai'aina and into the Pacific. So these four components, Na'au, Aina, Kaiaulu, and Ka'au, are really what we are trying to have interns and mentors, as well as communities, use to process their experiences, to process how we articulate data and research done in those communities. And this is the main foundation of what the interns go through our internship. Mina, you want to take this one?
Yeah, the Mo'a Āina framework, like Vi was saying, it's really 30 years of programming, right? So the four relationships, Na'au, Aina, Kaiaulu, and Ka'au, is what we really look at also developing within each intern, right? More a stronger connection to themselves, right? As all in Hawaii, right? Na'au is very central to the Hawaiian being, right? To the Kanaka. It's where that's where we process our thoughts, our emotions, right? When we consider somebody as ignorant, right? We call them Na'au Po. We consider somebody who is smart, enlightened. We call them Na'au Wa. Someone's Na'au who is in the light, right? Or vice versa, right? In the dark for somebody who is ignorant. So the Na'au is kind of like the primary, not the primary, but one of the really foundational elements that we really try to build within our Haumana. So, right? Knowing our Na'au is knowing who we are as Kanaka, right? The people that come before us, the kuleana that we have to the people that come after us, right? Our next generation. So that's what this like Vi was saying, this relationship, it's the first one that we look at, right? In the whole Mo'a Āina framework. It's the Na'au, it's looking at who you are as a Kanaka. And then like she was saying, right, the Aina and the Kaiaulu, of course, Aina and Kaiaulus, they shape us just as much as we can shape the Kaiaulu, right, and the Aina. And what is our kuleana to that? So knowing our understanding and our connection to our Kaiaulus and our Aina, hopefully through this PIPES experience, you can gain a stronger understanding of that kuleana, that connection that you have to your human as well as your ecological Kaiaulus, as well as your Aina, right? The geographic landscapes that shape us as people. And like Vi was saying, she said it very well, ka'au point, right? The ka'au piece, communicating our science. Nowadays, science is so they're very much concerned with objectivity, right? Removing the kanaka out of the picture of the scientist, of the thing that you're studying, right? But here in Hawaii, we know that we cannot remove ourselves from our environment because it's part of us. It's our akua. It's a part of our identity, right? So this ka'au piece is how we look at how to develop, you know, our Kanakas, our students' way of communicating their research, right? And part of that communication is including yourself in that research, right? And how do you and your understanding and your outlook and your relationship to the research that you're doing, right? What does that look like? So that's another piece, you know, that's the fourth relationship that we're looking at in the ka'au. In the framework is the ka'au, is how do we communicate our research, right? Because we want to tell a compelling story, right? Science is very dull, it's very sterile, right? Because it's missing the human component. So this is what that's the final relationship that, you know, we're trying to develop within our haumana that come to the program. But you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah. Mahalo nui. Is it
Perfect.
working better?
Perfect. It's working fine right now.
Kalamai
So,
about that.
like Auntie, the
yeah.
10-week summer paid internship program. We are running this year's program. Do we have the dates up there? We don't, but we're starting in not the next Hilo. It's actually 2 Hilo moons from now. So that's how we're you know, communicating things now, Auntie. We're gonna open the next application process on the next Hilo moon. So you gotta go figure out. But I'll give you a clue. It's in the Makali. It's in the season of Makali. Nah, I'm just joking. It's Wednesday, December 13th, right? But that's when our next Hilo moon is gonna be. We're gonna be opening an application process the next Hilo moon. But this program is specifically geared toward undergraduates. So it doesn't matter what kind of major you're in. It doesn't even matter what institution you're at. As long as you're a U.S. citizen and you're at a 2 or a 4-year university, you're eligible for the program. The one thing is that our RU program, so we have 3 different programs over here listed. The first one is the RU, and it stands for the Research Experience for Undergraduate. That one is funded by the National Science Foundation. And their stipulation for being funded through this particular internship track is that you are a continuing student. So if you're graduating this May and you want to join Pipes and you want to do a RU, you wouldn't be qualified because you would have to be continuing the following semester. However, if you meet some of the other criteria that we have as a program, you could be eligible for a UH-HIP or a MASSIP program, which is very similar in the internship track itself. UH-HIP stands for the University of Hawaii Internship Program. And it's geared toward Kama'aina as well as Kanaka Ma'oli. So we define Kama'aina as somebody who was born or raised in Hawaii or who graduated from a Hawaii high school. So, and then the other one is, you know, we cater toward our Kanaka Ma'oli, so our Hawaiian population. And then the third program is called the MASSIP, the Micronesian American Samoan Student Internship Program. And this one, of course, is geared toward Micronesian American Samoans and Micronesians and American Samoans. The program is geared toward that particular population because I guess we also didn't mention in our part of our mission statement was that the whole reason this program was birthed was because of the lack of representation of our indigenous peoples in the governmental, specifically conservation profession. And it was birthed out in Micronesia as well as American Samoa. This program moved to Hawaii, actually, you know, a few years after it was created. Back in 1997, it moved to Hawaii. But the first program, the first years was ran out in American Samoa and Micronesia with the goal of getting those Kanakas, right, all of those Po'e from those communities in the agencies who are responsible for Aloha Āina and resource and cultural management, resource management. And then similar to Hawaii, right, there was a lack of representation of Kanaka Maoli in our conservation profession. So this program was brought to Hawaii with funding from different partners, you know, HML being one of the huge partners that support Pipes. Ha'ole Maoloa Foundations. But these are the 3 programs that we run. So RU is more research focused. It includes a research question. It needs to have research collection, data collection, some kind of data analysis piece, as well as a write-up. So that's kind of more geared toward people who want to take their higher education or their academic pathway into getting experience in research. This is perfect for you. However, you need to be continuing. And the UH-HIP and the MASSIP is more of experiential. However, it can include research components, and often it does, but it doesn't require it. Our funders do not require it to be research heavy or focused. And it can be more experiential. So this is where we have more of our Aina-based education kind of program, internships, right? Being out there with the keikis in the forest, teaching them about Aloha Āina and about, ecology, biology, all those really cool scientific terms, right? We call it Aloha Āina. But we have, these are more geared toward experiential to get our interns interested or aware of this career pathway, right? That's what we're very much interested in providing that opportunity for students, is just expanding their awareness of these different career pathways, specifically at Aloha Āina. Vi, do you have anything to add, Vi? Sorry, that was kind of a lot.
No. I think that was great. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I'm just gonna move into listeners might not know what an internship is. So usually it's a set amount of time. So ours is 10 weeks, and you gain new skills or you are sharpening the skills you already have, usually in the field that you're interested in. You're also making career connections as you're doing your work and as you have these on-hand experiences. It could be career exposure. You're not sure if you really would like something in this field, so you get a good preview of it. Or it could be something that for sure you want to do, and so this is just solidifying kind of your work experience. And then at least for pipes, we do have a lot of cohort learning where all the interns individually, you go to your work site, but then we also have times so we can come together, fellowship with one another, and learn together and grow as a cohort. So this is kind of a timeline of our program. We start off with an orientation. This past summer, we went to Iole, Kohala, and we spent 4 days there together as a hui. This is really an important time to get to know one another, get to know pipe staff and our expectations of interns moving into the summer. And then you also get to, interns get to meet their mentors. So to kind of tackle any awkwardness so that the following week you can just hit the ground running and start on your projects. We carve out a time for mentors to come, ideally in person, to meet you, meet the interns and talk about their projects, talk about what will be expected of them. The internship itself is majority of the program. So maybe Mina can correct me, but 7 or 8 weeks of this program is the intern reporting to their work site. It's a 40-hour work week. And it's a very rigorous program because you show up for work for 40 hours. And then on certain Wednesdays, usually Wednesdays in the evenings, we do have capacity building workshops that we call Mahuahua. And this is a chance for the cohort to come together again. And then over dinner, we go through personal and professional development tools that can help them in their academic and otherwise careers. We also use those times to kind of dive deeper into the Mo'aina framework and what that can look like for their current internships, also for their academics, studies, and elsewhere too. And then we have our symposium at the end of the program where interns obviously will be presenting on their research and experiences. And that's in person as well as an online virtual audience that usually attends. And it's kind of a big deal because I think, Pipes has been around for a long time. So the people who attend the symposium are often, you know, very influential, have big titles. You know, it's also family, friends, community members, you know, who have been impacted positively by the interns' work. So these 6 dots that you see are our mahuahua. There's 6 of them, and they are spread out throughout the 10 weeks. And then HCC that you see there at the bottom is the Hawaii Conservation Conference that we fly all of our interns and staff up for in Honolulu. And usually it falls somewhere during our summer program, and we never know when until like an inopportune time. But it's a great conference. Interns get to learn what current conservation projects are happening in Hawaii and beyond. And then it's what I think is almost more important is the networking opportunities that take place there. So Pipes will hold an alumni lunch during the conference, where current interns get to meet Pipes alumni, and you get to hear about what they were doing as interns in the past, as well as what they're doing now. And I think it's a really cool and inspiring opportunity for the interns to see, you know, like the pathways and make the connections and be a part of this growing massive network of people that Pipes has touched, I think, over time.
Can I add something, Vi?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was just gonna say, like, you know, oftentimes internships are not paid. So Pipes, I think that's one of the unique things about Pipes is all of our internship programs are paid in all 3 of them. And the other thing is when you're going through this experience, oftentimes you go through a academic pathway without actually experiencing what it's like to do that. So Pipes will actually give you that real life experience, and you get to learn what you love to do and what you do not love to do about science, about conservation, of Aloha Āina, you know, and you can really kind of fine tune your path and, you know, figure out, oh, I actually really like being more about education and not necessarily the heavy research part of it, you know. So I think those are really good key points to just kind of think about in this particular opportunity. That's all I wanted to share, Vi. And these are actually wonderful pictures that actually came from Pipes. I wish you could blow them up so you could see those happy faces. Plenty happy faces in it.
I can see Wailea's happy face right there in the middle. I don't know if you can see my mousy, but she's like right in the middle of the one that's above the symposium word. She's right in the middle, like right in the middle. I wanted to say real quick that you're right, and I'm sorry about the background noise over here, but you're right that there is very, very slim number of times that you as a student that declares a major gets to actually experience what you like and what you don't like until you get out into the workforce. And then you're like, that happened to me, that's why. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be in public relations and work at an advertising firm and wear nylons and high heels every day. That is not me. And so I'd go back to school for another 3 years, and then I'd, you know, go and work and go, I don't want to do that either. I go back to school for 3 years. So I did the extended version of my degree when I was going through the system. But what I did notice is that Wailea came back and she said, Mom, one thing I really learned in Pipes is my kilo ability. I can kilo. And I said, girl, you've been kiloing since you were a baby. She was somebody that always, from the time she was very little, wouldn't participate in anything except she would stand back and kilo. She would just look and watch. And that totally frames who she became. And then when she did this Pipes program, she said, Mom, I can do it, man. I can find the smallest little sapling of ohia in this big thing of grass. I'm like, what? That's crazy. And she goes, I have perfected my kiloing. Anyway, so she gets mad now when I say, did you see that? She goes, oh, Mom, I can see it. I can kilo. Anyway, just wanted to share that.
Yeah, mahalo. Yeah, that's a great point, Minama. Definitely. I just wanted to share a few of our interns we had this past summer and kind of what they were doing. Kanalu is finishing his degree in Oregon at Linfield University. He comes from Kaneohe, and this summer he was down in Miloli'i in South Kona, working on trying to identify breeding habits of roi, which is a highly invasive fish that we have here in Hawaii, as well as detect or find an affordable method to detect Ciguatera concentrations in roi. Lillian Lewis came from Washington. She was actually a repeat intern. Some of our interns have done pipes like Mina 3 times, 4 times, you know, and we welcome it. And Lillian comes from Washington. She's finishing her degree at Hilo here. And she was using bioacoustics technology to survey presence and type of birds and bats in Iole in Kohala. And then on the right is Kamuali'i Estrada. He had a more experiential internship, and he got to do a lot of outreach education with youth, keiki in Kohala. And also help his host organization, Aloha Āina, with some Vahipana data allocation surrounding Mauna Kea and parts of Kohala as well. And I put him up here because he's awesome, but also he was one of 3 Olelo Hawaii interns. And so what Pipes, Mina, and Nalu have been working really hard over the past 1.5 years, possibly, doing is creating this space for Olelo Hawaii immersive internships. And so from day 1 to when they present, their mentor and themselves are conducting the entire internship in the Hawaiian language. And that's something we do plan to offer again going into 2024, and, you know, improving on what can be done and, you know, trying to, I think, open the door, which has always really been open, but I think maybe people don't know how to approach the door jam of, you know, seeing research and data collection and community engagement from and truly OEV lens, and trying to do all the things that we think we need Western science and English for, you know, through this indigenous perspective. And trying to, as a part of their ka'au, Kamuali'i, and the other 2 interns, trying to articulate their experiences in their native tongue. So I think that's something really cool. Maybe, do you have any mana'o, Mina?
No, I think you hit it on the head with that one, you know. I think Pipes was always aspired to be in this space. However, they didn't have the right people. I don't know. I cannot speak for the coordinators before me, but having Nalu and I, you know, I coming from a Kulakaipuni space, like, of course we want to support this because we see the need for it, right? Our community there's a need for it. So why wouldn't we provide the, you know, the space for it? So I think this summer was our pilot. I think we did all right. You know, there's like everything, there's always room for improvement, but we can build upon what we learned this summer. I just wanted to point out one thing about this slide. Vai actually mentioned it, that Kainalu, he's attending a college in Linfield. He's OEV from Oahu Kaneohe. And part of what we do here in Pipes too is identify these students who are OEV from you know, Kapai Aina o Hawaii, who left Hawaii to go get their higher education, right? We want to find those guys and be like, hey, you want to come home? We'll pay you. In fact, we'll fly you home. We have funding in our grants to fly you home, house you here at Hilo, and then pay you to go do something that you love to do in Aloha Āina, so we can ensure that you come home after you graduate, right? To create this career path so he can come home. There's a job lined up. There's networks. He has a network of people that he can go and connect with to be like, hey, I'm just graduating. Is there any opportunities for me to jump into something so I can be home, right? Because we want to keep our Kanaka home. None of this brain drain. Too much Kanakas, right? The statistics is saying that there are more Hawaiians outside of Hawaii than in Hawaii. How is that possible? So this is one of the ways that we're trying to curb that. in type program, is through this whole identifying our Kanakas who left, and then we bring them home. And also, I highly encourage, if anybody knows folks on the mainland who left Hawaii to go get their higher education, spread this opportunity to them. We don't want to get those guys home. That's all I want to share. Mahalo nui wai.
Yeah, so that's a great point. I don't think in our other presentations we've said that we, accept undergraduates from, doesn't have to be Hawaii based universities, institutions. In fact, we encourage, like Mina said, those who have strong connection to community in Hawaii or ancestral ties that, want to find their way back here and have function. This is definitely like a perfect program for you. So this is our last slide. There is a QR code for anybody who wants to scan it, and it'll take you right to our website. Like Mina said, our application's open on the Hilo moon of Makali'i, which is in the Gregorian calendar, December 13th at midnight. And you can find a lot more information on our website, just about the internship program, about Pipes' vision going forward, and other things. So our email is there. Please reach out if you have any ninau or want to talk story. The website's also there if you never use a QR code. And then we do have an Instagram page too. And there's Wailea with my son, Konale.
I heard about your son.
Oh,
that is so cool. Yeah.
Things.
She was in love with him. She was just showing me all these pictures, and I'm like, oh, he's so beautiful. That's so cool that's your son.
Yeah.
And my daughter together. How cute. Oh my goodness. I'm just sitting back and listening to your stories, and what a fabulous program this is. And I just want it to be in front of everybody. So we're gonna get this definitely to get this recording all spruced up and get it in front of everybody at WCC, because I really think that we're, one of the places that would make a lot of sense to find students that would totally enjoy this internship and help them figure out, well, what's next with my, in this case, Hawaiian Studies degree. I love what Mina said, that you're right. When you say you have a Hawaiian Studies degree, everyone goes, oh, you're going to teach. But there's so much more that you can do with a Hawaiian Studies degree. And I'm always saying that. I'm like, if you're going to have a foundation as your bachelor's degree, make it Hawaiian Studies, because where are we? And so we've even gone as far as, get rid of the, liberal arts. Why do we need liberal arts? Just make it a Hawaiian Studies core, and people build on that, because it makes so much more sense. Yeah. So we have talked about that, and we just got to convince the world that that's the right way to go. But this is a fabulous program.
Help you do that too.
Yeah, I just think get rid of the liberal arts. What is a liberal art? I don't even know. Anyway, I have a liberal arts AA, but I should have a BA. I mean, an AA in Hawaiian Studies, which is what we do. We've got our new program called Hawaii Loa, which is fully online. You can get an AA in Hawaiian Studies, and that's a new since COVID.
Nice.
Yeah. So everybody should have that core, I think. Rob, did you have any questions or comments before we close up shop?
Just wanted to say mahalo for the multiple chicken skin moments. You folks are doing phenomenal work, and I just thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. Mahalo kumu for sharing this with us.
Oh, no problem. Doesn't it make, well, I wish I physically could handle being one of those interns and go and hug trees in the mountains like my daughter did. So yes, I'm living my life through my daughter. When she was going to hug trees, and she has so much pictures of her hugging trees. So I think it's funny, Mina, that you say you actually were hugging trees as part of your study. She's always been a tree hugger. Anyway, anybody have any more comments? If not, we'll tie things up. Yes.
I do want to add one thing that I don't think we mentioned. Last summer, all of our internships were on Hawaii Island, and we
Oh,
are
thank you.
doing that again in 2024. Pipes in the past has been Pai Aina wide, Pacific wide.
Yeah.
I think since the pandemic, we're trying to ease back into, getting to that point again. So, if any students are watching this, or you can think of people who might be interested and they would like to apply, you can also let them know that it'll only be on Hawaii Island, which doesn't mean you have to be here already. We will, like Mina said, we flew Kainalu here from Linfield University, but for the community members maybe, or the potential mentors who might be interested in, having Pipe support their goals and their visions, we are looking to expand into Pai Aina wide, possibly next year, 2025. But we're totally open and really want to make those connections now. We can totally do that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's
All of us.
really cool. Okay. Well, I want to thank both of you so much for coming today and sharing this mana'o with us. I really, truly am excited about your next group of cohorts that you're going to be working with. And hopefully we can get this information in front of some people that will help out in finding fabulous interns
Yes.
and mentors.
Yeah. Mahalo nui, Auntie. Thank you so much. And thank you, Rob and David, for being here too.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey guys.
Thank you, Mina.
Mahalo nui.
Yeah. Ahui ho.
So,
Manama. We'll be in touch. I have a feeling.
yes, Auntie.
Yes. Aloha.
Aloha.